Hey everybody, Film Brown here at the Movies with Film. You know, one of the major motifs that you find in a lot of science fiction films is the idea of some alien race who is running out of something, or is running out of space, or needs water, or needs some mineral or something like that. And they travel deep into space in order to find it on another planet. And of course, Earth happens to often be a place that they kind of stop by. I saw a Time Tunnel episode that did the same thing. They were looking for protein, okay? And they got into the 1880s looking for protein, looking for cattle and stuff like that. Well, that kind of ties in for the film that we're looking at tonight. Teenagers from Outer Space, believe it or not, 1959. Here we have this alien race, okay? Now, they're not alien to themselves, they're alien to us. I always think that's funny, you know? They're aliens, you know, on their own planet, they call them aliens. Lost in Space does that all the time. Like they're on a planet and they run into an indigenous people who live there. And they'll say, aliens. No, they're the aliens. What the heck? Anyway, you got me on a track here. But oh, these teenagers from outer space, you know, you send out your best guys, I guess, when you go out to look for new kinds of things. They're not looking for protein, they're looking for a place that, I guess it's something they live off of. It's kind of a food source called Gargans. And these Gargans are basically lobsters. They carry them around a little cage. And they're looking for a place that's conducive for these Gargans to grow and to prosper. And they can maybe, you know, have cattle droves in a sense, you know, like Gargan droves. And have people like push them around on the west and things like that. And come back, let them grow, and then come back and harvest them and then take them back to their planet. And this planet Earth is very conducive to these things. They do grow to monstrous sizes and actually become sort of like cutout silhouettes too later on in the movie. So kind of an interesting transformation. Now these guys who are doing this, you know, they're sort of military guys. They kill a dog at the beginning. They're kind of tough and ready. And one of the guys, this guy named Derek, he's read this book that sort of gets him this idea that, oh, you know, maybe the job that we're doing is not good. Maybe there's this idyllic time that I would like to return to, this idea of families and picnics and hot dogs and Chevrolets and station wagons and stuff like that. And he gets in a fight with this guy named Thor, played by Brian Grant, who's also married to this Ursula Hanson, who you'll see later on in the film. They get kind of an argument. And Thor, he wants to keep to the prime directive. We gotta make these big Gargan guys because people are hungry back on our planet. And this other guy, this Derek says, no, I'm the rebel with no cause type of guy. I leave, I go away, and I find, now they shoot this dog at the beginning with this disintegrator gun. Turns into a skeleton, right? So again, they don't have it down totally. You know, if you disintegrate something, it goes away. Not in this case. It's like what? They become Skeletor type guys is what they become. And also, it leaves behind the dog tags. And Derek picks up the dog tag and he reads it and he thinks like, ooh, ideas here. So he goes off and he runs into this guy at a gas station and he says, can you read the inscription on this thing? And he says, yeah, it's just a couple blocks down the way and the second door there. And reads them. Okay, no, he's taken in by a family. And he learns sort of the ways of middle-class life in America. And he likes it. And he doesn't want to be like Thor and exploit the Earth. He starts to build empathy for Earthlings and things like that. One of the guys he runs into is this Gramps Morgan. Gramps. Anybody named Gramps, you love him. Okay. Gramps Morgan is played by Harvey Dunn. Harvey Dunn, hey, now you remember Bride of the Monster. Bride of the Monster, he played a detective type of guy in there, kind of a police guy, and he had a bird. Remember, he had a bird on his shoulder and stuff like that. Well, that's sort of that's an Ed Wood film. Ed Wood would allow him to keep the bird. They didn't allow him to keep the bird here, but in real life, I don't even know what that means. In real life, like this isn't real life, I'm doing this. He played a clown. And part of his act was having a bird, okay, on his shoulder and stuff like that. But yeah, so kind of interesting. I like the Harvey Dunn character. He really does a nice job playing Gramps. The guy who directed this film, okay, he really, when you think about it, he's a true auteur. Now, an auteur, okay, is a director whose vision makes the film, okay, mobilizes the film. It's the central trajectory of the film. And the many films that this director is going to work with, he's going to work through these basic themes and basic vision that he has. Likewise, the auteur is going to be very much in control of every aspect of the film as much as possible in this truly collaborative art. And I was looking through. Tom Grafe directed it. He wrote it. He's in it. He plays this guy named Joe Rogers. Joe Rogers. He doesn't go by that. Tom Lockyer is the name he goes by in the credits. He also, okay, I was looking through this. He also was the producer on this. He was also the cinematographer on this. He edited this film, and he did the special effects, and he worked on the music. Yeah, now that's a true auteur. He's not a metteur en scène in any shape or form. Now the sad part of this is he only made 2 movies. Okay, he made this and a film called Noble Experiment. Now I haven't seen that, but I'm betting he's working with ideas of, maybe preserving planets or trying to raise food. Maybe that's the noble experiment that sort of, can Gargans live here? Maybe that's the noble experiment. And that got me thinking a little bit, okay? He made just 2 films, but the big one, of course, is The Teenagers from Outer Space. Think of other directors who only made 1 or 2 movies in their lives. Marlon Brando, One-Eye Jacks, that's it. Charles Laughton, Night of the Hunter, just made that film. Actually, he also worked on directing The Man on the Eiffel Tower, but he didn't get any credit for that. So he really 2 films. So kind of interesting. Here's a guy, okay, if this Grafe had the opportunity to make a lot more movies, it'd be interesting to see that theme that's running through and also the style that he is developing across this film. It's interesting. I was looking too. The guy who helped him work on the special effects for this film was Paul Blaisdell. Paul Blaisdell. And I was just looking at some of the list of films that Blaisdell did special effects on. And he did did not only Teenagers from Outer Space, but It, The Terror from Beyond Space, Invasion of the Saucer Men, Not of This Earth, It Conquered the World, Day the World Ended, A Beast with a Million Eyes. From my research, this looks like one of the last films that Blaisdell worked on. He sort of got fed up with the film industry and left. Okay, so yeah, kind of a fun movie. I really enjoyed it. If I had a chance to make 1 movie in my entire life, it might be this one. It might be this one. And the idea that given total control, this guy did a wonderful job with it. Well, I'm going to leave you to kind of think about this film, these Gargans. Keep an eye out for them. Think about how the earth could be infested with giant silhouettes of lobsters. Quite frightening, quite frightening. Let's roll them.